Hello, hello. So, you probably know that gravity is a force that exists between every object in the universe and every other object. You feel it very closely between yourself and the Earth because we're really close to it. But is gravity pulling between you and the sun? Well, yes. And we're going to calculate exactly how strong that force is. So, I'm going to start out with the basic formula for gravity. So the force of gravity is equal to the gravitational constant times the two masses, your mass and the mass of the sun. I'm going to make the mass of the sun a big mass, m, because the sun is big, all over the distance between them squared. So let's get started. Let's start by filling in the values we know. So the force of gravity, gravitational constant is 6.674, I believe. 74 times 10 to the negative 11. Why? Because gravity is the weakest of all the forces we know. For my mass, I'm going to put down 102 kilograms. Now, I'm not really that, but it's just going to make the math easier. Just trust me on this. And I really should be. I need to lose some weight. But I'm going to put it in scientific notation. So 1.02 times 10 to the second. You're really going to want this in scientific notation. And the other mass is the mass of the sun. The mass of the sun comes in at 1.989 times 10 to the 30th kilograms. Now, by the way, if you want to know how we know what the mass of the sun is, I do have a video where we go through how we know the mass of the sun, because we didn't put it on a scale. No, we didn't set it on one of these. No, we didn't. Anyway, the distance of the sun is 150 million kilometers. So I'm going to do it in scientific notation. So 150 million is 1.5 times 10 to the 11th power. And remember, the whole thing is squared. So let's start doing some math here. So force of gravity, let's just leave the gravitational constant alone for now. 6.674 times 10 to the negative 11. Multiply 1.02 times 1.998, and you get 2.03. 10 to the second, 10 to the 30th. When you multiply, you just simply add the exponents. One of the reasons why I use scientific notation. And you get 10. 10 to the 32nd power. Down here underneath. So 1.5 times 1.5, it is squared after all. And you get 2.25, 10 to the 11th, squared. Well, you just multiply the exponent. So times 10 to the 22nd. And now we're ready for the final stage. So the force of gravity, 2.03 divided by 2.25 is roughly 0.9. Multiply it by 6.67, and you get 6.02. 10 to the negative 11, 10 to the 32. 32 minus 11 is 21. 21 minus 22, because it's on the denominator, is minus 1. So, and with a number with an exponent this small, you don't really need to keep it in scientific notation. So I'm just going to write down that the force of gravity on my body from the sun is 0.6 newtons. By the way, that is very small. That is maybe the force of the Earth's gravity on this pen. The weight of this pen is about equal to the force of gravity pulling on my body. You wouldn't notice it. You might notice it if the sun suddenly moved from one side of the Earth to the other side of the Earth. You might feel that slight shift in force, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. It's a very, very small force. Now, one of the reasons why I use this mass here is because if you multiply it by 9.8, you get my weight, which would be 1,000 newtons. So the force between the Earth and me is 1,000 newtons. The force between the sun and me is about half a newton. Even though the sun is much, much bigger than the Earth, it's so much further away that its gravity is a lot lighter. Now, if you spread this force over the entire ocean, you'd have enough to cause tides. And the sun is a big contributor to the tides. But in general, you aren't going to feel this. But it's still there. And it's pulling on us, on every one of us, and everything on Earth, which is why the Earth doesn't go straight off into space. It does turn about 1 degree a day. And over the course of 365 days, it makes a complete rotation. So the sun's gravity is very important. But no, you aren't going to feel it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And somehow I'm going to find my camera app and stop it and upload it. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.